Shalom, shalom to everyone watching. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero with the Ways of Israel. Good morning. Boker Tov. We can continue our series of study in Sefer Ikkarim. This is the Sefer of Rabbi Joseph Albo, who began to establish the basics of Judaism and laying down the foundation of what he considers is the importance of having the basic principles of Judaism well established. So he goes into a critique mainly also of Rabbi Maimonides, or the Rambam, in his quest to find the basics, reducing the 13 to 6 principles. But let's go ahead and get moving this morning, and that way we have a better idea of what is happening in this whole entire series and go and move forward. So let's take a look at Sefer Ikkarim. We left finishing chapter 6 and now into chapter 7. Now the term law in Hebrew, da'at, applies to every rule or custom in vogue among a large group of people. It may be a body of rules embracing a great many commands, as is the expression all that new law, da'at, in judgment. Or it may be applied to a single command, as the expression, and a decree that was given out in Shushan. It is applied to a divine law as in an expression. At his right hand was a fiery law, dat, unto them, as well as to the positive human law, like the laws of the Medes and Persians. There are 3 kinds of laws, enumerates Albo: natural, positive, and conventional and divine. Natural law is the same among all peoples at all times in all places. Positive or conventional is a law ordered by the wise man or men to suit the place and times and nature of the person who are to be controlled by it, like the laws and statutes enacted in certain countries among the ancient idolaters, or those who worship God as human reason dictates without any divine revelation. Divine law is one that is ordered by God through a prophet like Adam or Noah, or like the customs of law which Abraham taught men, instructing them to worship God and circumcising them by the command of God, or one that is ordered by God through a messenger, whom he sends and through whom he gives a law like that of the law of Moses. The purpose of natural law is to repress wrong, to promote right, in order that men may keep away from theft, from robbery, murder, and that the society may be able to exist among men and everyone be safe from wrongdoers and oppressors. The purpose of conventional positive law is to suppress what is unbecoming and to promote what is becoming, that men may keep away from the indecent according to human opinions. Herein lies its advantage over natural law, for conventional law also controls human conduct and arranges their affairs with a view to the improvement of human society. Even as natural law, the purpose of divine law is to guide men to obtain true happiness, which is a spiritual happiness and immortality. It shows them that the way they must follow to obtain it teaches us true good, that they may take pains to secure it, and shows them as the real evil that they may guard against, and it trains them to abandon the imaginary happiness so that they may not desire it and not feel its loss. In addition, it also lays down the rules or the rights that the political community may be ordered in a proper manner, so that the bad order of their social life may prevent them from attaining the true happiness, which is the ultimate end of the human face to which they are destined by God. Divine law is therefore superior to conventional or positive law. Now let's take a look at chapter 8 of the Sefer Ikkarim. Positive or conventional law is inferior to divine law in many ways. The first is the one we may mention, namely the positive law controls human conduct in order to maintain a good political society, but it cannot impart true theoretical knowledge, as we shall show in the sequel, so as to give immortality to the soul and enable it to return to the land of life from which it was taken, because positive law deals only with becoming and unbecoming. Divine law is adequate for this purpose, because it includes both parts upon the human perfection is based, and conduct and theory. Divine law embraces the becoming and unbecoming. It distinguishes between the true and the false, which constitutes the theoretical part. That is why David describes it as perfect when he says, "The law of the Lord is perfect, restoring the soul." Some version has it, by the way, converting the soul. And here perfect, it means completion, wholeness. The law of the Lord is whole, restores the soul. The meaning is that the positive law is not perfect because it does not deal with true opinions, but the divine law is perfect because it embraces perfection in morals and perfection in theory, which are the two parts upon which perfection of the soul is dependent. Therefore, it restores the soul to God who gave it, and to the place which was the original home. Another point of the inferiority of conventional law to divine law is that the former cannot distinguish between the becoming and the unbecoming in all cases. For a thing may seem becoming or unbecoming to us without being so in reality. So just as it is impossible that a man should be born perfect in all the practical arts, though he may have a natural aptitude for some, so it is impossible that one should be born perfect in all good qualities and free from all defect, though he may have a greater tendency to certain qualities than to others. But that he should have all good qualities is impossible. It becomes clear now that the impossible for any author of a human code not to show a natural deficiency in some direction and regard the becoming as unbecoming and the unbecoming becoming, his testimony concerning the becoming and unbecoming will therefore not be true. So thus Plato made a grievous mistake, advocating the unbecoming as though it were becoming. For his idea is that all women of a given class should be held in common by the men of that class. Thus the wives of the rulers should be common to all rulers, and the wives of the merchants common to all merchants, and similarly the wives of all of the men of a given trade or occupation should be common to the men of that trade or occupation. This is a matter which the Torah forbids. Even the Noachian law prohibits it, for Avimelech was told, "Behold, thou shalt die, because of the woman who thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife." And his excuse was that he did not know she had a husband. Aristotle, as is known, criticized Plato's idea in this manner. This shows that no human being is able to differentiate correctly between the becoming and unbecoming. His opinion on the matter cannot therefore be relied upon, nor to speak therefore of knowledge, where it is clear that we cannot rely on human opinion concerning profound problems such as the creation or eternity of the world, for the human mind is not adequate to know with certainty. But the testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple, for it gives a reliable statement on the problem of the world's origins and the important problems, including morals. Another point of inferiority in the conventional law, as compared with the divine law, is that it cannot give full satisfaction to those who follow its requirement. The reason is that when a person is in doubt whether the thing he does is sufficient to lead him to the end intended, he cannot feel satisfaction in what he does. But a person who follows the conventional law is precisely in this position. He does not know whether that which the law defines as just is really or just or only apparently so. Hence, he cannot find satisfaction. He, however, who lives by the divine law knows that what is defined therein as just is really just. Hence he finds satisfaction in his conduct, and this is why the precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. Another point of inferiority of the conventional law as compared with the divine is the conventional law cannot define the specific acts which are proper in several virtues. It can only make general statements. In the same way, a definition can be given of a general only, and with particulars cannot be defined. Similarly, conventional law cannot be defined particular acts. Thus, Aristotle in his Ethics says repeatedly in connections with the different virtues that a virtuous act consists in doing the proper thing at the proper time in the proper place, but he does not explain what is proper in the proper place. It's clearly a matter which everyone is capable of determining. Aristotle also says in various places in the Ethics that the proper measure must be maintained in every act, but he does not tell us what the proper measure is. It would seem, therefore, that his opinion was that the determination of this matter must be sought elsewhere. Now, there's no doubt that there is within the power of human being as such to determine this matter, that Aristotle would have discussed it. The reason he leaves this matter to another agency is because the human nature is not capable of determining this matter. Divine help alone can do it. For this reason, Aristotle speaks of the virtue in a general way, only defining temperance as a means of quality between the excessive indulgence in eating and drinking, in sexual and other pleasures on the one hand, and excessive abstinence on the other. In the matter of sexual intercourse in particular, the author of conventional codes say that the one may have sexual union in the proper manner, with the proper person, and at the proper time, but they cannot tell what is the proper in a given case. Divine law specifies the proper manner, in such as it will lead to procreation and the perpetuation of the species. The proper person is a particular person who is the man's wife, forbidding marriage with certain women as being incestuous, the proper time, and when the woman is clean, forbidding intercourse during or near the menstrual period. Similarly, divine law prohibits certain foods and permits others, permits the drinking of wine when one is about to perform a divine service or say his prayer. It frowns upon excessive abstinence, as a clear from the interpretation of which the rabbis put upon the expression, and make atonement for him for that he had sinned by reason of the soul. By reason of what soul has he sinned? Asked the rabbi, and they answer, he sinned because he abstained from wine. In the same way, the authors of conventional code praise his courage and says that the person must not risk danger, except when death would be preferable to life. But they too cannot tell when that is the case. Divine law, however, declares that a proper time to risk one's life is when the name of God will be sanctified thereby, as in the case of Hanina, Mishael, and Azariah, or in order to fight with idolaters so as to destroy them and wipe off their name from under the heaven. Similarly, in relationship to mercy and cruelty, human law cannot determine the proper measure of each to indicate when it is proper and when it is not. The divine law makes clear that the cruelty is proper in one's dealing with unbelievers, with heretics, and with those who violate the religious law, who should be punished with stripes or death according to the magnitude of the offense, as the law determines, and that mercy is a proper quality to show to believers and those who are poor and unfortunate, though it should be exercised differently according to circumstances. Thus, in some cases, it's proper to give away of gifts, in others by way of a loan. The variety of methods is indicated in the expression, well it is with the man that dealeth graciously, and lendeth that ordereth his affairs uprightfully. Dealeth graciously has a reference to alms, to tzedakah, which are given to the poor and man without experience of return. Lendeth refers to a loan, and the one who does these things is characterized as one who ordereth his affair rightfully, and the one who shall serve neither shall never be moved. The righteous shall be had in the everlasting remembrance, because he confers benefits upon all man, by the gift or by loan. Human law cannot be determined properly in particular cases. Hence, he who follows its sole guidance walks in darkness and does not know what the specific acts he should do and what way he should follow. But the commandments of the Lord is pure. It's like the sun, enlightening the eyes and showing those who follow in its way the way they should go and the things they should do. Again, the author of the conventional law is human being, and therefore cannot determine the beginning and the unbecoming at all times. For all these things which pertains to the general opinion, and vice versa, thus we find the days of Cain and Abel, or Cain and Abel. The ancient times, generally the marriage of a sister was not thought as indecent. The same thing was true in the times of Abraham. For Abraham, in excusing himself to Abimelech, said, "And, moreover, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother." The latter, the marriage of the sisters, came to be regarded as indecent. For this reason, the aversion from the unbecoming which is acquired through the conventional law cannot last forever, because it changes with time. But the divine law, by reason of the fact that it is determined by divine wisdom, declares the becoming unbecoming for all times. And therefore the aversion from the becoming that is acquired through divine law is not liable to change or destruction, for it is free from all errors and impurity, and cannot therefore exist forever, like silver, which is free from all dross, as the psalmist says, "The word of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the crucible, and the earth refined 7 times." Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nihiyah bidbaro. So the meaning of the verse is this: impure silver made alchemically may stand one's melting without betraying its impurities, but not the two. In some cases it may stand 2 meltings, or sometimes 3 or 4 or 5. But finally the impurity is discovered. In some cases the impurity is not discovered by melting in the furnace. It requires melting in the thick of the earth. But the silver, which is purified in the thick earth and refined many times, is free from all impurities and dross and alloys, and can never change afterwards, though it be melted away many times. This is why he compares the purity of the words of the Lord to pure silver, which is refined in a crucible on the ground. That is to say, in an open place in the thick earth, refined 7 times, in which there is not the slightest trace of impurity. Similarly, the aversion to the unbecoming which is acquired from the Torah is clean, enduring forever, because it's not liable to change in the destruction to which conventional law is. Again, the conventional law cannot recompense every man in accordance with his conduct, or mete out punishment properly, so that one receives stripes, another be stoned, another strangled, another pay damages doubled, another pay 4, 5-fold, to make the punishment fit the crime. But the divine law gives every one retribution according to the wrong deed, no more and no less. This is why God's justice is just. And though we see apparently the righteous man perishing in his righteousness, and the wicked man living in a long life despite his wickedness, this appears so only if we test the punishment by the standards of good of this world alone. But if we combine the goods of this world, which the bad man also gets, with the evils and punishment which he gets in the next world, similarly the evil befalling the righteous in this world, with the good things he will get in the next world, in the world to come. And we shall find that the sum of the two gives a just result, though either alone is not just. This is the meaning of the psalmist when he says, "The ordinances of the Lord are true. They are righteous altogether." True refers to the measure of punishment. Righteous altogether refers to the sum of the punishment in this world. plus blessings in the next, and vice versa. Now, Barbara says, I have seen a commentator explain this verse very differently. We find instances in the Torah where the same thing is forbidden and permitted. For example, one may not marry his brother's widow, yet if the brothers die without issue, he may. The fat of the cattle is prohibited. Of certain wild animals is permitted. The combination of meat and milk is prohibited, yet the udder is permitted, and so on. And one would think that the two contradictories cannot be correct. Hence, according to the commentator's view, the statement of the psalmist that the ordinances of the Lord are true, they are righteous altogether, the permission as well as the prohibition. But the expression true is not fitting. One, according to the interpretation, for true does not apply to laying down of a law, but rather the term fitting or proper or right. The word true does not apply to the compensation as we find. It executes true judgment, judgment indicating retribution as in the expression. The Lord hath made himself known. He has executed judgment. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Or the expression, only to do justly. The word altogether is also unsatisfactory, according to this explanation. These are defects of conventional laws, and great many of more might be mentioned. For example, human law can be punished only a visible act, but not one that is secret. For a man sees and only what is visible to the eyes, but the divine law lays down punishment for all secret acts also. For God sees into the heart. The expression, the ordinances of the Lord are true, they are righteous altogether, may also be explained as referring to the visible and secret acts. There is no need of expatiating upon this matter. I merely desire to enumerate those 6 points which are named in the psalmist in Psalms, the 19 Psalms, and which are contained in the expressions. The law of the Lord is perfect. The testimony of the Lord is sure. The precepts of the Lord are right and rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are true. They are righteous altogether. Having explained the 6 points of superiority of divine law in comparison with conventional, the psalmist adds that the divine law is not merely gives theoretical perfection in relations to the true and false, in the moral perfection in relation to becoming and unbecoming, as we have said, but it also gives perfection wherever perfection is imagined that exists, namely, also in the category of the useful and pleasurable. Hence, the psalmist continues to say by ways of rhetorical figures that in the words of the Torah are also found as useful and agreeable. More to be desired are they than gold, yes, than fine gold. This refers to the useful, sweeter also than honey and honeycomb. This refers to the agreeable. The meaning is that the reward that is earned through commandments is great and is more beneficial than gold, much fine gold, and more agreeable than honeycomb. This is also provided one is careful to observe them. Hence, he concludes, moreover by them is thy servant warned, in keeping of them there is great reward. And here ends Rabbi Albo, chapter 8 of the first book of Sefer Ikkarim, and we will continue tomorrow with chapter 9, in which we find the expressions of the principles of convention listed herein. And make sure you tune in with us as we continue the series of Rabbi Albo in this incredible series of studies that you'll find here on the ways of Israel. Now keep in mind, like all institutions and organizations, we are supported by the free will gifts and offerings, or tzedakah, of those who hear our messages, share our word, and it's very important that we hear from you, that you press the button, donate today, whatever you can, be part of the ways of Israel. You also can become a member of any length. We have memberships of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and it's very inexpensive. You can go ask for an application. I'll be more happy to get it out there to you and be part of the membership of the Ways of Israel. Obviously, membership is available to Jews as well as believers in one God, and we make sure this is available to you, and you have a standing with our organization, Ways of Israel, as being part of our entity here in the United States, and thus there are benefits to that, to becoming a member with the Ways of Israel. Just write to me. I'll be more than happy to share what are those benefits and what is the cost of membership, at least for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and this way you'll be part of a Jewish Orthodox entity online here at the Ways of Israel, or in Spanish, Los Caminos de Israel. I want to thank everyone here who every morning you're there present, sharing and watching the video. Share this video, hit the like, let other people know that we're on to teach and help expand your horizon in Judaism. So now you see everything is not necessarily the Rambam. We also have Rabbi Albo, who gives us an incredible lesson that not all the fundamentals are really fundamentals. And this is something hard to grasp. But this Rabbi Albo did in order to say, I don't agree with the Rambam. And it's another perception or perspective that we need to be able to look at. Not everything is so extreme that you have, these are the dogmas, and if you don't believe them, you're going to hell. I know there's one rabbi out there that's his main speech. Everybody's going to hell, going to hit him. But that's not ours. Ours is you think right, you think good, it'll be good for you. You change your way of thinking, and God will bless you. God will bless you even when you give. God bless you when you do good, and when you act good, and you behave good. God begins to work in you. May God bless you this morning, give you strength. We're already middle of the week, so please be part of what we're doing and share this video with all of your friends and loved ones. Shalom, shalom.